On an average, we have seen even in KGP, one institute, there are 4 to 6 suicides every semester. So manage the man within you before managing men. That's the first sutra. So he got a crush with a girl, and then he was so obsessed about the idea of romance. Slowly his 9 point became a 6 point. The more things change, the more we need to take shelter of things which don't change. So wrong definition of success will lead to a disaster in due course of time. So if one feels that, okay, again, the goal or ambition means, just how to mint, money, and nothing else, one may land up in a very disastrous end. We have seen big businessmen topple. Now in history, in business history, we can see big giants topple off. So big giants topple off, within, one day, it's the richest, is one of the most, it's one of the most flourishing companies of the world, and another day it becomes a bankrupt venture. Coming out of school and entering an undergraduate college, one is in a situation where the degrees of freedom have increased to a huge extent. And therefore, if the course of life is not driven properly, then one may land up into many unfortunate situations. Like here we see self-destructive habits, inferiority complex, depression, suicides. On an average, we have seen even in KGP, one institute, there are 4 to 6 suicides every semester. If you include all IITs, there are more than 2 dozen suicides every year. We can learn a lot of lessons from the word management itself. Now, if you break this word as is here, then we understand management means man plus age plus men plus t. So manage the man within you before managing men. That's the first sutra. Man comes before men. So manage the man within you before you manage men. Gain maturity, gain age. To know what to do, when, so what, when, how to manage. So there is an interesting statement that says, okay, the tongue has no bones, but the tongue can break the bones. Therefore, so you will see that the secret to happiness does not lie in leaving the senses free, but the secret of happiness and success lies in restraining and controlling the senses. Then further, we need the age. That means we need that maturity to be able to save ourselves from the infections which are existing around us. Like here a couple of infections are mentioned. Energy wasters. You see the nature of anxiety, it just pops up like a thought. What if? And then one keeps harping upon it. Now, social scientists had this, social scientists talk about that simply by keeping harping upon it. In that way, one converts a mole into a mountain. In this is what Bhagavad Gita also talks about. There is, there is a famous philosophy, which says that each one of us, we have a good dog within us, and we have a bad dog within us. The good dog, the bad dog. Let's talk about the bad dog first. The bad dog is the angry dog, the lusty dog, the greedy dog, the envious dog, the jealous dog. And the good dog is the tolerant dog, the cooperative dog, the obedient dog, the humble dog, the truthful dog. Now, both these dogs are there in our hearts. Now, which dog grows and which dog becomes stout depends on whom we feed. So if we feed the wrong things, we land up in a devastating future. Like we had one of our acquaintance from IIT, and when he entered, he was a 9-pointer, and because he was a 9-pointer, he was like a hero. So he got a crush with a girl, and then he was so obsessed about the idea of romance. Slowly his 9 point became a 6 point, and what happened is that finally, he got a 6 months back because he could not pass some of his subject. Whereas the girl, she went to US, and by that time, and this boy was writing to her that I'm just coming, I'm just clearing my subjects, and I'm just coming and reaching. Then we'll marry and we'll have a nice time. By the time he reached US, she married. Or by the time he thought of taking a ticket to US, she sent her photograph. She was already married. So this boy, he burnt himself alive in an IIT campus. This is not just one story. There is this whole trail of episodes like this. One time a gentleman was watching an India-Pakistan cricket match, and it was at its peak, and he was on his toes, and it was at the very climax, it was very close, and finally at the last moment, India lost. And he became so angry. He just wanted to throw off. Whatever came to his hand, he just threw something on the television screen and he broke it. And then he was still not able to control himself. And then he just picked up something and threw on the wall. And after throwing on the wall, he realized that was a small baby. The baby died. So we need the age not to give in to vices. The vices are going to trouble us. So therefore it is said that the more things change, the more we need to take shelter of things which don't change. Our eternal nature as part and parcel of God doesn't change. God's loving and helping nature doesn't change. Our relationship with God doesn't change. The social scientists are talking about that there are these 4 dimensions which have to be nourished. These are the physical dimension, the mental dimension, the social pillar, and the spiritual pillar. When all of these are nourished, when one undergoes training in all of these positively, then only the zeal comes from within, such a zeal that one will not be deterred even in the face of adverse situations. Physical training is about understanding of health, safety, nutrition, diet, exercise. Mental training is about harnessing one's thoughts, creativity, or unleashing creativity, innovation, the mindset to think out of the box. And that's mental training all about. Social training is about teamwork, the quality of the circles which we have, friend circles, social media circles, and so on. The quality of our circles, that social psychological assessment, that social training. How do we perceive things and situations? What do we take in? What do we reject? What do we accept? What is our filter mechanisms? What kind of filters we have in our perceptions? But then there is this very important 4th dimension, which is the spiritual training, which talks about, or the spiritual dimension, which is the spiritual pillar, which is about the sense of being, who we are. What do we stand for? What is the goal of our lives? And now comes the T. So yes, we need to control the man before we control the men. We need to get the age of the maturity, which we can get from the timeless scriptures. But then it says, with everything, don't forget the T. The T becomes the torchlight. So T stands for transcendence and transcendental knowledge. The spiritual dimension always acts like a torchlight.